Well, it's Thursday. It's your last word. It's Bakes on Things, and we are back to doing our usual political commentary. Thanks for supporting Canada Positive Week all week long. Definitely keep sharing those episodes to keep the positivity up. But we're going to take a step back into our usual truths from the political theater we see across this country. And, well, this week was no different. We've had lots of political theater this week, from Reagan ads to budget preparation to now the media chorus being full swing again, insisting that Prime Minister Mark Carney's upcoming climate competitiveness plan will finally correct a decade of liberal deceit under Justin Trudeau. Problem is, didn't Mark Carney create the whole thing? They're saying the same bureaucrats who failed spectacularly for the last 10 years are now going to fix it because Carney's in charge. Except I need to call this out right now as total, stinky, yucky, gross hogwash, because Mark Carney isn't the man cleaning up Trudeau's climate mess. He's the man who frickin' created it. Let's break down why this plan is destined to fail. And we're going to actually also break down why Pierre Poilievre's strategy of using Canadian energy to clean the planet actually makes more scientific and economic sense. So let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, join the conversation down below on all of this. The piece making the rounds in the media right now is claiming that Mark Carney's new climate plan will be a reset over the Trudeau era, an honest version of the liberal fraud that came before it. It admits the Trudeau government spent over $200 billion through 13 different agencies and 149 different programs, all to achieve, wait for it, barely 8.5% emission reduction since the year 2005 before they even started. Half the goal they set when they started in 2015. Zero accountability. And now they're calling that decade deceitful, as if Mark Carney was some innocent bystander since 2015 who just arrived from the clouds and is here to fix it. But here's the problem, media and everyone else. Here's the truth. As Trudeau's hand-picked climate finance czar and his international climate ambassador, Carney helped design the very targets that Canada failed to meet that you reference in all your articles. The Trotter Energy Institute reports that the liberal plan wasn't based on science. It was an aspirational modeling exercise tweaked to show the desired outcome. You don't need to read between the lines when you hear something like that. That's polite Canadian academic language for they basically faked the whole thing, including all of the math it included. And Carney was in the room when they did it. Why are we forgetting this? Why are we choosing to overlook it or ignore it? This is huge because he was the climate czar. He was the voice creating those policies. Mark Carney likes to brand himself as the global grown-up, the guy who will balance capitalism and climate change. But his own book, Values, tells you exactly what he truly believes, and that is that private capital should be redirected by government values, that finance should be weaponized to enforce climate goals, and that fossil fuel investment must be punished until it disappears. This is literally what Trudeau said to us. It's literally the exact same terminology, the exact same approach. So this isn't moderation. It's moral micromanagement dressed up as economics. Mark Carney is a central banker turned climate crusader. The same man who told Bloomberg in 2019 that fossil fuel assets will soon be completely worthless. Now, that same man runs a country whose prosperity literally runs on fossil fuels. That's not a good sign for that country. Oh, right, that country's Canada. You can't preach financial realism while planning to kneecap the very industries that pay for our hospitals, our schools, and half of our nation's exports. That just won't work. If this is his idea of competitiveness, which he promised in the election, it's economic suicide is what it truly is. Just in a green suit. Look, Again, I want to see this country successful, no matter who the prime minister is. But when we have to deal with the facts, and facts help get through the ideology, there's data out there. Data is the antidote to all this crazy ideology. Canada produces roughly 1.6% of global CO2 emissions. Even if we disappeared, each and every one of us, tomorrow, turned every pickup truck in this country into a bicycle, shut down every single furnace and mine in the country, the global temperature change would amount to zero. We would help nothing. Meanwhile, China emits over 30% of the world's CO2 emissions, India 7%, the US 15%. Those three nations alone account for over half the world's emissions. And they're still building coal plants. They're building them by the hundreds. So no mainstream media, no liberals, no climate crusaders. No, Canada is not the problem. In fact, Canada's energy is already among the cleanest on earth. According to the International Energy Agency, over 82% of our electricity in Canada is generated from non-emitting sources. No emission. 82%. Alberta's oil sands producers have cut their per barrel emissions by 35% since the 90s. Natural gas from BC is up to 40% cleaner than Chinese coal. That means that if we were to export more LNG, more uranium, help me, this is starting to sound familiar, more advanced nuclear, we actually would lower global emissions by shipping those things to the dirty players around the world. Where have we heard this before? Oh, right. That's what Pierre Poilievre understands. He said this in the campaign, that you don't save the planet by kneecapping the clean producers. You save it by replacing the dirty ones, by shipping our clean energy there to reduce their emissions. That's brilliant. And now the numbers prove it too. Here's another truth the activists don't want you to see. They want you to ignore. Canada's geography and environment already make us carbon neutral. We're a carbon sink superpower. We have the third largest forest coverage in the world. Our boreal forests alone absorb nearly 250 million tons of CO2 annually. I mean, look at that number. That's almost equivalent to our total national emissions after subtracting exports. We're already net zero. Add in wetlands, grasslands, and oceanic absorption, and the math gets crystal clear. Canada is already functionally net zero by definition. We don't need to keep up with any of those climate targets. Yet we keep punishing ourselves as if this is our fault, chasing the illusion that Ottawa can alter the weather with more bureaucracy and red tape for places like that produce oil and LNG. But it makes zero sense. The Poilievre approach actually works. It's proven by the numbers now. Pierre Poilievre's plan is the opposite of fantasy. He believes in exporting Canadian energy, which helps our economy, things like mining and technology, to where it can go and do the most good environmentally. To places like China, like India and Southeast Asia, even the United States, where coal plants pump out toxic emissions on a daily basis. That's it. Replace one Chinese coal plant with Canadian LNG, and guess what? You cut emissions by roughly 40 to 50% from that plant instantly. Replace it with Canadian nuclear power, emissions drop to zero. That's how you help the planet. Through trade, not taxes. Pierre Poilievre was right all along. Before the campaign, through the campaign, and now. He's not letting up on this message because he knows it works. Through innovation, not ideology. Through leadership, not lectures to all of us. Poilievre's energy vision doesn't deny climate change. He's never denied climate change. He's said that very clearly. What it does deny is the insanity of fighting it by wrecking your own economy, especially in an economy where we're already net zero. And so there are some real costs to the zealotry of Mark Carney. Mark Carney calls his new proposal a competitiveness plan. But what he really means is carbon colonialism, turning Canada into a climate showroom for global bankers and bureaucrats who never have to live with the actual consequences of the policies he's creating. Under Trudeau and Carney now, Canadian energy workers became global scapegoats. They were blamed. They were berated. Investment in oil and gas collapsed by more than $100 billion since Trudeau took over in 2015. We lost pipelines, projects, and tens of thousands of jobs, all to chase goals no one else on earth is meeting. In fact, we were already meeting together. And now Carney wants us to believe he'll fix that, right? Is that what he wants? Please. He's just doubling down on it. He's promising the same fantasy, just rebranded as climate competitiveness. You can't make a country competitive by making it compliant. It doesn't work that way. You make it competitive by unleashing its powers, by producing, building, and selling again. That's how you make it powerful. It's no wonder all of these fake agreements he's signing around the world aren't worth the paper they're written on, because he's not talking to them in a way that they're ever going to play ball. So here's the bottom line, Canada. Mark Carney doesn't need to announce his plan for us to know what's in it. I can tell you what's in it. It's the same recycled dogma that failed for a decade before, the same self-congratulating tone that says, don't worry, government will save you, but it won't. It never has. It never will. The only thing that's ever saved this country is work. The people who get it, the people who get up, they dig, they build, they weld, they transport, and they innovate. That's how you grow a country. If you want to help the planet, let Canada do what it does best. Produce the cleanest energy, create the best jobs, and export the solutions that actually reduce emissions worldwide by the biggest perpetrators of CO2 emission. That's Pierre Poilievre's vision. Always has been. He has not changed it. Not performative guilt, not global applause, just results. Why can't this country just start to get results again? Because real leadership doesn't punish prosperity. It uses it to make the world a better place. Canada's not the problem. We're part of the solution. We're the answer. If our leaders would get out of the way and just let us prove it. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things tonight here on The Last Word. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, have the conversation down below. Do you believe in Pierre Poilievre's plan of shipping our cleaner energy to the dirtier places? Why wouldn't we do it this way? I don't understand. I want you to make me understand. Have that conversation down below. And don't forget, we will catch you on the first sip tomorrow, Halloween, and Game 6. So we got a busy day tomorrow. In fact, the first sip will be the only episode of our Friday because everybody's out trick-or-treating in the evening or watching Game 6. So we'll see you on the first sip for Friday. That'll be the only episode. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.